That's all we're here to do is share some perspective. Let me go ahead and record this one. Make sure I got this one recorded. Peace, family. Once I get a good thought in my head, I have to share it with the people, and that's what I'm here to do. You know what I'm talking about? And I also want to give some perspectives from y'all, man. So today I want to talk about slaves to the algorithm in this Joe Rogan situation. I wanted to wait to talk about it, but I won't be filming another podcast till Sunday. So I had to go ahead and talk about it now. Otherwise, I get burnt out, and then by the time it's time to address it, I don't want to do it in the same capacity. So I want to lock in. This will be recorded. Excuse me, I'm unboxing something. Got a lifesaver. I just bought this thing. This ain't really a lifesaver, but I'll tell you about this later. All right. We'll let you know about the hat in a second, or the top crowns is what they call. You understand me? Hold on. Text. What up, Ishmaeli? I see there's some people in the building. We go tap in one time, man. It's an important conversation, man. We be so fooled by the media and the way that they try to gaslight us with certain things that we don't even know how to really pay attention to the real plot and what's going on at all. All right. So for those who are not familiar with the situation, Spotify paid Joe Rogan $100 million for his podcast. Joe Rogan has literally the biggest podcast in the world. You understand me? He's really become his own media center, and a lot of people follow him. A lot of people know him from UFC as a commentator, and then before that, they know him from Fear Factor, right, as a host. You understand me? And now he has a show where, he basically it's a free for all when it comes to opinions. He started off as a conversation with him and some of his buddies where, they talked about any and everything, right? Conversations that they most likely had by themselves. And now they get to have in front of others, right? Wow, this thing's hot as hell. This is a real laser. Wow. I just ordered this laser, y'all. This is a real laser. Like, oh my God. So give me a second. I'm playing with stuff. So I want to get into it, man, because a lot of us don't understand what really be happening, right, in the culture, and what's the significance behind the moves that's being made in front of us on a daily basis, right? Now, the issue that came up with India.Arie was saying that she's going to boycott him, and Neil Diamond, another singer, right, saying that they're going to take all of their stuff off of Spotify. That's their boycott. They taking everything off of Spotify, and that's their way of boycotting Joe Rogan. Now, India.Arie was basically saying that, her reason wasn't just about the comments that he made about, COVID-19, but she was saying that he made some racist comments as well, because everybody's like, wow, this is interesting for India.Arie to join in, because, I don't hear much about India.Arie, even though she's an amazing, beautiful, talented singer. Like, India.Arie is an amazing, phenomenal Black woman. First of all, I just want to say that. But at the same time, I was surprised to hear her, because I seen Neil Diamond, and I'm like, okay, this is a white guy, older white guy, and maybe he lost some loved ones and he got an issue. But Joe Rogan on this platform, he has one of those freest platforms out there where he says the things that really get you banned, right? By literally just having open conversation and dialogue in a long form. And I actually listen to a lot of his different podcasts because, it's a very open platform where they discuss a myriad of different subjects. And I recently went to go see Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle and him had did a concert together, right? And at that concert, he talked about the fact that somebody had sent him a video. And he said in this video, they sent him a compilation of all the times he said the N-word. And he said, my God, I actually looking back to that video, and he said, I had to be right. That was racist as hell, right? Now, this doesn't absolve him of the fact that he was utilizing this word, freely, right, on his platform. I believe it before it got big as it is right now, right? So NDRE said, this is the reason I'm boycotting them. You understand me? On top of the words that he said about COVID, was essentially saying that it's not that serious, right? And then he was basically saying that, a lot of the things that we get banned for, a lot of the doctors and the scientists today are now coming out in the news, and now coming out and confirming. But essentially, a lot of platforms were lost and people were deplatformed for saying things that wasn't yet confirmed by the media, right? Or so-called science. And so basically, if you don't say what Dr. Fauci or anybody else says, then you're going to have an issue. But he has one of them platforms where he talk about conspiracies. He bring on different opinions. He bring on races. He bring on black people. Bring on different type of people. He had Kanye West there when he was running for president. And I actually like the podcast. I'm going to be honest. I like it because, it's a lot of digestible information. It's a lot of free-flowing information where that long-form content allows you to really get the point out, right? It really allows you, instead of having that short-form content where a person says one thing and then they're not able to really get the full point out and stretched across. So he really, created something different with that, and that's why a lot of his audience rock with him. And so, as I look at that and I think about it, I have to ask myself, right? Who really gets hurt by this in the long run? Number one, they always fan the flames of racism at us so that they can gaslight us quickly. And this gaslighting us doesn't actually benefit us, right? If somebody is racist, I actually don't want them to get deplatformed fast. I want people to have an open space so I can choose on who I can rock with and who not. Because once you make people hide their racism, then they do it in other systematic ways. So no, I would rather everybody be open so I can choose, right, the devil that I want to rock with or not. Right? So it's like the same thing with Joe Biden. Everybody thought that Joe Biden was going to be the better devil. But then we found out that Joe Biden was the same devil or worse. And he always had a reputation for that. So past presidents don't unveil all of their racism. Donald Trump unveiled whatever was on his mind. So we had a chance to see exactly who he was, right? For what he was at any given point in time. And you was able to make a decision, and you can firmly have a conversation with that person based on their true beliefs, not this political banter that they throw in front of us as propaganda, trying to hide, right, with this backdoor racism. So Black America, Black men specifically, respected more of the upfront racism, right? If you go back to leaders in the past, Black men in the past, right? Whether it was Marcus Garvey, right? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you go to, right? What's the brother? His name escapes me right now, but they all had conversations with the Klan. Now, some people was like, how could they have conversations with the Klan? But then you go back in history, and then you see other leaders who met with Democrats and Republicans who were Klan members. They just didn't have the robes on. So what's the difference? Tell me what's the difference. There aren't none, right? It's the devil that's dressed in a wolf, and it's the devil that's dressed in sheep's clothing. But I'm going to tell y'all what's the biggest between this, because with Joe Rogan getting the biggest, he having the biggest platform, and he getting the biggest deal in the podcast history, Fred Hampton, thank you, brother, is the fact that if they censor him and they start to control his platform, now we already know Black people get unfavorably censored on this platform. And now Mark Zuckerberg is losing because of it as well, right? They banned my brother Rizza Islam for speaking, right? Instead of just coming on here debating the facts in front of the people, having the dialogue and allowing the people to choose based on what's supposed to be freedom of speech. But we know that freedom of speech has been robbed and taken away. I'm not even supposed to be putting this on my platform right now. I just got out a 30-day ban. But that's what they do, is that they punish you or they reward you. So if you get punished, it's supposed to diminish the type of behavior that they punish you for in the first place. Whoopi Goldberg, another person that they doing. Whoopi Goldberg said that she don't believe the Holocaust was about race. And our black people was like, wait a minute, here we are in the so-called Black History Month on a show called The View, and a black woman gets suspended for her viewpoint. Now, I might be crazy on this, but this don't make no sense to me. Not only that, we said, wait a minute, it's Ethiopian Jews, African Jews, right? You can become a Jew just by religion. So Jews is not a race. If Jews is not a race, and you say that the Holocaust wasn't about race, how can you then be deplatformed for speaking your viewpoint based on the facts? But see, when it's not about the facts, they want to control the narrative. They want you to just shut up and go along because theirs is about power. They're not going to come on and bring a scholar and then have a conversation with it based on the facts and be like, listen, well, you wrong empirically because of this. No, they just say, listen, this is our power. This is our platform. Shut the hell up. And then they always utilize, they weaponize our women again. They weaponize our women in this fight, right? Because our dear sister India Arie it's not the fact that she can't have a position on it. It's that we got to look at the macro and not the micro. See, in the micro, we thinking, oh well, he said some R. He said the nigger word. He said the nigger word, right? Don't get me wrong. Hell yeah, he shouldn't speak that way. And that's 100% wrong, 100%. But that's not the bigger issue here. And we get played by racism all the time. Racism plays us because as long as we thinking in this lower form of racial construct, or not construct, but consciousness, you understand me? Then we can't think ahead and beyond that. They grab these words to trigger us and keep us thinking in the lowest form. We beyond that. Number one, we beyond that. We beyond allowing them to control, the manipulate, and gaslight us on these subjects. We want to think bigger. Now, let me ask y'all, who y'all think, if Joe Rogan, the top podcast, gets censored and deplatforms, now that's going to have a trickle effect on the rest of the podcast, the rest of the independent media that's being created in the first place. And who you think is going to get it worse? Who you think they coming to first? I give y'all a hint, man. They melanated. They copper colored. They gonna come to these black platforms, black media, because they already doing that in the first place. But now they get a license, say, listen, we admonish Joe Rogan. Now we coming after everybody. We got new rules. Now black people can't speak how they want to speak. They don't want us to speak the truth. Listen, the number one leader among black people in America that has the only has been going this long is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he's been deplatformed from Instagram because he said he was anti-Semitic. Yet they won't have a conversation with him openly. Yet black people won't fight for it. We want to say, well, listen, we listen to the man. We want him on there. If y'all say that he's wrong, have a conversation with him openly. Let us decide for ourselves, not you just wield your power stick and just decide to be able to cut off voices and narratives that are actually positive for our community. So this is what we deal with, right? So we know that, shout out to the brother that created fan base. You understand me? Shout out to the blockchain, because that's where we get to have our decentralized vehicles where we get to create our own. I just seen where GoFundMe has stopped. It was like some sort of Canada Freedom Fund or something of that nature, saying it went against the rules and $9 million had been held up. Well, if that was a DAO, it would have been no way for them to be able to hold that money up. See, we got to understand that these tools that's in front of us is for us to use so they can stop having so much power over us. A bank right now can decide to freeze your money. Not if it's decentralized. We got to figure out ways to consistently decentralize our platforms in our communities. Because as long as they control us, We can't control the narrative. So how do you prime a society? A society is primed in two conditions, and that's reward and punishment to control behavior. Well, Keys, I'm gonna put you. So they said I can't say the COON word on here, even though I can say nigga all day on a platform. But if I say this word, and because it's usually associated with those who have a bourgeois in society, you understand me? And black people usually utilize it to associate with those who are associated with the institutions who are favored by, you understand me, them other folks. Then they say, well, you can say nigga, but you can't use a word that describes a certain aspect of your culture that you disagree with. So wait a minute, this don't make no sense. So now they policing how we dictate and how we speak in the culture. Now we can say nigga, we can say all these things all day long, and it ain't gonna be no problem. But if we use that word, then they got a problem with that. So they put me in 30 days. I couldn't go live for 30 days. Because and it was based on a historical fact, but they didn't like the way I described it. Right? So we know for a fact that these platforms and these algorithms are built with tech bias. And tech bias is the biggest threat to us because the moment we got media, we was able to control our narrative, control the knowledge that impacted our people. You understand me? And now they want to be able to control that voice as well. So Joe Rogan may look like the target, but Joe Rogan ain't the target. No, but they know that if the most successful podcast is allowed to say it, then they know for a fact that they can now target everybody else. The smaller ones don't even have a choice. You won't even, like Joe Rogan got Elon Musk and other billionaires and people he know. If they deplatform him, he could possibly go with Elon Musk and they can go create another platform where everybody who wants to have their opinion being said can. Trump already creating his platform. You think a lot of people go jump onto that. So you have to understand what's going on behind the scenes, because the moment that you start fighting into their narratives, you allow them to gaslight you. This damn old ass clip, that was only to bring black people in on this thing. That was to get us to say, yeah, he's racist. We're not worried about racism right now. We worried about truth. We worried about having our freedoms, you understand me, uninfringed. No, that's not our business over there. Joe Rogan ain't hurting the black community. We ain't worried about him. We focus on financial wealth right now. We focus on getting power and rulership. Don't try to bring us in on that. But that's what they do. NDIRE, where the hell NDIRE come from? No, let me get a black woman to be a spokesperson for this. And then if they go against NDIRE, now we can say, well, the black man not siding with the black woman. Now they make a further divide in the situation. See, y'all don't understand how manipulative the powers that be are, how they gaslight us so goddamn hard. Now we don't look like we supporting the black woman. Now we don't look like we standing up for ourselves. Wait a minute. I thought this thing was about Cohen in the bank. Like, how the hell we get in between this? So they think they slick because they've been using the same tricks over and over and over and over, and it's been working. They slick, boy. Now it becomes an issue between black men and black women. You got to be more careful. And then I want to talk about this becoming slaves to the algorithm. So in China, you know, they in China, we know that their algorithm is different than our algorithm. They created TikTok, right? And everybody was afraid, oh, that's technology from China, right? I'm looking at this clip with Brilliant Idiot Podcast, and he made a valid point. Our children get on TikTok, as long as they do dumb dances, dumb pranks, all of this dumb stuff to get attention, they're rewarded with the algorithm. And I'm gonna give y'all a breakdown on this because women, y'all really need to listen to this as well. And now we having this conversation about Kanye West and his child not wanting to be on TikTok, right? And we know the issues that have, but that's a whole nother conversation. But it plays into this algorithm. But in China, they said, no, our algorithm is different. If they not putting out things that we want our children to be productive in, then guess what? We not gonna reward them in our algorithm. So that means that they incentivize good behavior as a reward system for virality. So guess what? Oh, I'm gonna go on there and goddamn read and suggest all of the good things that I know is towards nation building and a productive society. Then if I'm China, well, I don't want American children to start thinking smart. I want them to goddamn be worried about ignorant behavior. So we prime them towards that behavior. So of course we're gonna make their algorithm different than ours while enforcing better rules over here. Makes sense to me. Oh, they think they going viral just naturally. They going viral because we giving them those keys. You start, listen, I'm gonna tell you the way the algorithm works. It's the same thing with women, right? How many women you see do the same pose, wear the same clothes, do the same exact thing, same filters over and over and over? Why? Well, because if a woman go in there fully dressed and she shows herself and she posts the picture, she get a little 20 likes, 100 likes. But if she go in there with the ass and the titty pictures and she throw that in the algorithm, all of a sudden it feel like she didn't went viral, 1,000 people. So she say, well, if I do this again, I get the comments, I get the likes. So her behavior starts to prime towards the algorithm. It's not that she just naturally thinks about, oh, freedom is me sexually expressing myself in this capacity. Because the woman would happily go on there fully dressed and read a book in front of y'all if the algorithm promoted that. But when she got to take every picture and she has to have her ass, even when she's trying to show her face, so that the algorithm picks up the ass and she gets more likes on there, then of course every woman now feel like they have to take a picture sideways just so you can get a glimpse of the ass when you go watch. So now all your behavior is not your natural self, not what you naturally think. When you not go just posting, oh, I like this nice sky, this look good. Oh, I just read something, I want to put that out there. No, I'm only putting out things that I know the algorithm go reward. So you don't get the real person. And then they start to prime their behavior in such a capacity, right? That it starts to spill over into their real life. They don't even realize that you don't even really think like this. You've become a slave to the algorithm. We become, and so where else do they do that in? We do that in hip hop. Hip hop is slave to the algorithm. Well, listen, man, you talk about killing, murder, robbing, gang business. Guess what? You get more likes, you get more plays, you get more money, you stay. So guess what we go do? The young's like, well, shoot, if I want to go viral, I got to talk about killing so-and-so and the dead ops and smoking on this, that, and the third. So guess what they go do? I want rewards of the algorithm. That young boy might have been smart as hell. He might be on a whole nother frontier, but he not gonna put out his real interest. He gonna put out things that he get rewarded for. Slaves of the algorithm. So who runs this though? We go look at these companies that run it. Why are they rewarding this behavior in our community, but they don't reward that behavior in their community? Think about that for a second. You ain't never seen, go find me one of them executives of these record labels. Why don't they put their children on? The music ain't that good to where you don't need that much talent. So why come children from their neighborhood and from their culture not talking about these things and they signing them? How come they only reward that behavior in our algorithm, take the money and build up their neighborhoods while our culture degrades our own? Slaves of the algorithm. So if I'm posting out financial information, talking about technology and talking about the mindset and trying to get our people to a better condition, that ain't going viral. But let me walk up and slap the shit out of one of my brothers for no reason. That's viral. But if I help my brother, that's dead in the water. So you got to understand that these technologies, the technology itself is not the evil, but the programmers of the technology have no righteousness. They have no moral system, no code. So we are products of this business being manipulated and controlled. So no matter how old a rapper is, he gonna talk about the worst things in that community. He matures so past that point in his own life, in his own family, yet he still gonna talk about the drugs, the murder, the killing, the violence, the ignorance, because he knows that he can sell that to our culture and get paid. He don't think about this as it has anything to do with good or none of that nature. He not gonna take that young thought leader that he listens to it and then they tap into and put him on his page. Why? Because it creates a new algorithm. I don't want the guys to start being favored because they can't keep up with it. I've been putting out this nigga shit for so long. This is all I know. And then I'm not gonna beat the guys that putting out godly information. So why would I even want to try to compete? I listen. How many of them blue checks follow me and the rest of the brothers? How many times you see them post that up on their platform? But let some nigger is happening in society, they posting it up with a quickness. Why do we use our platform to promote negativity and not the positive instruments? So the platform, the solution, of course, is always creating our own, but also being aware of it. So we have to be aware of what's going on to produce enough change. Because we can get some money for it, we can get paid for it, but at a detriment to our culture, at a detriment to our own people, because they happen to get us to think individuality, individuality, individuality. So they say, well, listen, man, get your own. Your people don't care about you. Get your own, man. Them niggas don't care about you. They got us thinking in this mentality. So it's like, don't you ever start thinking about everybody else. Don't you ever start thinking about the culture. Get your money, because ain't nobody gonna care about you. And then they plant that in every single one of our heads, so that even though we may be 45 million strong, we are individuals and we never become a collective power. They destroyed the family unit, so we don't see your brothers and sisters. We see niggas and bitches. See, the moment when they get us to identify each other as niggas, and the men identify the women as bitches, instead of saying that's my brother, that's my sister, there's no family dynamic that exists in between that. Why they do that? We do that still in the culture. Man, she a bitch. I don't give a fuck about these hoes. Damn, that's a woman. We used to say that's a sister. That's sis. That's a family dynamic. No, I gotta take care of sis. I gotta love sis. I gotta respect sis. I gotta do what's right. But if she a bitch, why I need to give her respect? I'm objectifying her at every capacity. I'll never need to give her respect. If that's a nigga don't have value. Well, I can kill a nigga, but you ain't gonna see nobody rap and say, I'm about to kill a black man, I'm about to kill a brother. They won't rap that in the lyrics because it's cognitive and it's accountability. That damn, you right, Keys. Why would nobody say I'm gonna kill a black man? Because that's what you're doing. Oh, I gotta call him op, I gotta call him enemy, I gotta call him nigga, I gotta call him any other thing but a black man or a brother. Because the moment I do that, I see myself in him. We become slaves of the algorithm. So yes, it's psychological warfare all the way around. And we have to be careful because this is how they position us to interact with each other. So we don't think big enough. And so they capture us with our feelings and our emotions because they've studied us for so long. They know exactly what triggers us. So we have to give more attention intentfully, right? We look at Shade Room. We know Shade Room don't post nothing good. And when they do something and they highlight the business or something negative that happens, they investigating black businesses. TR investigates more black businesses. Let's see what black businesses did wrong. Let's look for some nigga shit. Let's look for problems in the culture. Let's look for a way to highlight more celebrity culture. But the financial guy, he got to pay to be on the platform. He got to spend $1 million in budget to get on the platform. But the celebrity, we'll post them up for free all day long because that's not value to the culture. We can keep them tapped in. So when we build business models based on the algorithm, we understand. And then when we try to get y'all to get educated, look how hard we got to fight to get y'all educated. We got to put the baby, the medicine in the candy jar. You understand about? It's the only way we gonna get people to listen. So it's so hard that we have to fight so hard to get y'all to go in the right direction because the algorithm has programmed you to love the wrong direction. This is at the prime root of our issues that we cannot focus. Listen, if you want to check Shade Room, see what's going on, validate some little news story or something, that's cool. But you should not be following that platform. You should not be following Ball Alert. I met the sisters from Ball Alert. We have Revolt TV. Know who I am. They only want to talk to the celebrities. I appreciate what you're doing, bro. But what I do is not nigga enough to make the news. It's not negative enough to make the news. They got to have a spin because they slaves to the algorithm. They don't control none of that. They think about only their bottom line. Think about that for a second. I want y'all to really think about that for a second. They know who we are. They know all of us. But unless we pan, they're not putting that out there. They're not playing that on the algorithm. They're not doing that. So yes, when you see fan base, like everybody should jump on fan base. The reason we still on this because there's not enough people on there to where we can get the message out, and we still have to be effective. When we create our dApps on decentralized platforms, when we create our DAOs to raise money and do our own fundings, when we seen Clubhouse was able to come and all they did was have a simple platform, but everybody jumped on it, everybody that's a celebrity and their mama, we can take our communities off site. Because what's happening with this thing, and this is the future of it right now, the future is communities, decentralized communities, right? The future is decentralized communities. See, Facebook is losing right now. Mark Zuckerberg lost so much money last night. Oh my God. My God, I feel sorry for the brother. Almost. That man lost a lot of money because TikTok took over. TikTok got everybody doing the dumb stuff over there. Don't get me wrong, TikTok is still a platform you can use to flood it with education. Because when I drop videos on TikTok, they still do okay, but I'm not dropping the ignorance. But today, my most viral video was when I was explaining how, shoot, I'm not going to goddamn be answering the phone for people. Well, all this knowledge that I put out, the most viral video on Instagram for my reel was still ignorance. A little display of ignorance, and it goes viral. So this is why blockchain is important. Because it's more important, not even just these apps in the iOS store. It's important to own the data of the apps. It's important for nobody to be able to shut it down. It's important for true liberation of our speech. Our speech has to be liberated and free and controlled by us. So when you see myself and other people build these things, you have to go 100% in. It's a dangerous game that's being played. They do not want us to ever build Black family ever again. They don't ever want Black men and Black women to look at each other as mates and decide that we go fight this thing together and we go come together and love each other. They always looking for an issue, a problem, and a trigger. They don't want us to be seen as leaders in our community. They don't want us to be able to speak truth to power and create solutions to problems. They look at every single Black leader as problematic, especially Black men. They want to prop our women up to be stronger than us so that we have a flip side of dynamic, so we no longer attracted to each other in our community. So they say, no, Black women, you're not just a part of that community. You're a part of the woman community. And you should now look at this woman community with more empathy than you think about being a part of your own culture. So they say, before you Black, you a woman. Whoa, 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 whoa. When we was fighting for things in the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, it was Black first. But now they say, well, no, listen, hey, support this woman-owned business first. So they throw woman projects at you and say, hey, Black woman, you a part of this. Come get this benefit. Hey, Black man, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, you not a minority. You got privilege. The sister like, yeah, brother, you in a cisgender society, you got privilege, brother. You understand? Because you a male. Forget the fact that you're the most targeted Black man on the planet Earth. Forget the fact that your masculinity itself is a target from white supremacy. Forget that. Look at that man as he ain't got nothing in common with you. He ain't woman. So now they weaponize your gender against the culture. Every other community, if you do what every other woman does, we still lose. Why? Because every other community is ahead of ours. You do what the white woman does, but then society has 86 to 100 times more wealth. So how the hell you go follow suit with what they doing? Day 2 times said, what we gonna do with all this information? You go educate yourself and you gonna move accordingly. See, everybody wants everything to be done for them. We already put out the solutions for you to do. All the solutions are already laid out. I'm just making you more aware of the issue so you can clear up and understand why to go in this direction of where we've been pointing to you in the first place. You can't tell me we ain't put out the solutions, how to set up the family, how to train yourself, how to get your mind right, how to start building wealth, what technology, what focuses to go towards. You can't tell us that we ain't already put out the goddamn solutions. You can't tell us we ain't doing that already. We have the solutions. Ain't no longer that, well, y'all just talking. No, we building. You cannot tell me that no more. So you ain't got no more excuses. Don't come to me playing like that no more. You got to understand the root and how in depth this issue is, because you don't realize you playing Russian roulette out here by playing with your time. And you got to understand how serious these things are. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you can't fathom the depths of Satan. You don't know how deep this thing goes. You don't know how deep this thing goes. You don't know why you should be sacrificing the entertainment world. Today, we got the Super Bowl weekend coming up. Those Super Bowl tickets like $6,000, $7,000. That bowl ain't worth it. I don't give a damn about no LA Rams. I'm born in St. Louis, so we used to, hey, listen, they had the Rams in St. Louis was winning. I rock with the team. But what's more important? See, the same reason y'all said, well, I can't afford my time and money to go into education and learn things that really put myself and my family in a better position. Yet somehow we always figure out club money. We always figure out weed money, always figure out drug money, always figure out sex money, always figure out entertainment money. We figure it out. So we haven't even, when you talk about this economic aspect of our community, we haven't even tapped into 1% of that $1.6 trillion spending power towards education. Imagine if we can just get 10% of our people's spending power to go towards those who got the solutions that really want to build out a better world for ourselves. So where's that money going? In everybody else's pockets but ours. In every other community. Our money comes into our community and leaves so fast. And y'all afraid to educate yourself. I promise you, you can go look at EYL. They got 1 million people on social media. They ain't tapped into 1% of them. 1% of that 1 million still haven't joined the EYL University. I got 400,000 some people on mine. 1% of them still haven't joined the Infinite Wealth Strategies. Still don't listen to all of the videos 100% through. Still don't execute on the information. Look at Wall Street Trapper, Ian Dunlap. You understand me? Look at him 500. Look at all of these different schools and universities. Not 1% of their audience actually tap in. Not because you ain't got no money. It's because you don't have enough self-love to do what's right for you, yourself, your community, your people, and your children. 1%, I promise you, not 1% have. Of each one of these communities that I go to, I can show you that 1% haven't done it or 10% haven't done it. Why is that? Is that the white man's fault? Is that somebody else's fault? Or do we got to look at ourselves? Because we so much slaves of the algorithm. Everybody today should go through their platform and start unfollowing everything that doesn't add value. Otherwise, you become a slave more and more to the algorithm. Unfollow everything that doesn't have value. I see some sisters, they done got smart with the algorithm. There's some sisters that's into crypto. They got the breast out, they got the ass out, but they do it because that's the only way people go pay attention when they're giving you some good information. So you come in to look at some nipples when they dropping some crypto on you. So they starting to get a little smarter with it. They starting to manipulate the algorithm. But at the end of the day, I promise you, it's still just 1% of their community, 0.5% of their community still not tapping in. Because they still coming in there for the flesh instead of the knowledge. Listen, I remember when we was teaching futures program in the BWO, and Ian teaches futures. Futures really require discipline, but it's the most liquid market where you can make the most money. People, they not tapping into that. Y'all talk about Ian, but if y'all want to make some money on a consistent basis, that's what it is, the futures. Wall Street got the stock program. I just left with Quay Trades, you understand me? With cheat code. Y'all ain't doing that. Y'all ain't really tapping into what Earn Your Leisure got going on. Y'all not really tapping into the real estate with MG Mortgage guy. Y'all not really tapping in and utilizing these opportunities to advance your intellectual property. You understand me? And build wealth. So my issue is the fact that our own audience, our own culture, right, is willingly becoming slaves of this algorithm and willingly deciding that they're not going to reinvest back into the cultural leadership that has the solutions. We are willfully keeping ourselves ignorant. All of this knowledge, all of this, what can, just think about every platform. If you gave every one of the leaders in our communities, and I'm using leaders and I'm just talking about those who are in position and actually moving, teaching, educating, impacting, and working. If every one of them got $1 billion, what happens? I know $1 billion is a lot, but just think about that for a second, because we got 1.6 trillion. We got a small list of how many leaders that's in our community. You get them $1 billion, don't you think they're gonna maximize on that and build out the world for us? Imagine if we had a DAO, we put together the DAO, and then all people decide, okay, I'm gonna put money into that. It's gonna be a reinvesting system. I mean, listen, it's a system that can work right now. So we have to be careful, because the first platform they go after is our platforms, because they already doing it. Listen, somebody said, listen, we don't operate from no fear. I don't want to hear that shit, the leaders get killed. I don't want to hear that shit. Y'all leave that fearful shit at your house. Leave that in your head. We not dealing with that. See, the culture is so goddamn weak. We afraid of the boogeyman so much. Y'all afraid of somebody getting killed. Well, why don't the culture protect them then? See, when the Black Panthers was no longer in the spotlight, the culture wasn't protecting them, the people weren't protecting them, but they stood out there in front of the cops. They stood out there and went to war with the government. Anytime somebody do that, the people are supposed to turn around and protect them. Y'all want somebody to protect the people, but the people don't want to protect nobody. That's weak. So now they can't go get a job. They done put themselves out in front of the world. They can't get no assistance. So now they broke. Nobody helping them in the culture. Nobody go help protect them. Nobody go help pay legal fees. Nobody go riot against the government in case if things get shut down. Where's the protection? I don't want to hear about what J. Edgar Hoover did and how they didn't kill people all these different times. Where's the protection? And then it ain't about a single individual. It's about the collective, because when the leadership becomes the mindset, it's nobody to target. It ain't about me. It ain't about them, brothers. It's about the mindset of the people when we got a collective agenda. That no matter how we fall, we follow through with the collective agenda. That's the leadership. The leadership is the agenda. So it don't matter if 19 Keys on here spitting his truth. Guess what? We go follow this blueprint of building wealth. We go follow this blueprint of doing for self. The code is the leader. That's what y'all have to understand. And when y'all really adapt that and take it on, it don't matter how many of us go. Because once it's in the frequency and the vision and the mind and the collective, it's nothing that they can target and or destroy. And that's what you have to understand the most. You got to have audacity. You got to have courage. You have to be fearless in this day, age, and time. I'm telling y'all, man, I'm choosing violence the rest of this year. So don't come to me playing. Don't come to me with nothing silly. If you're not locking into what we doing in our private communities, you're not locking in with one of my brothers and what they got going on and any of these things, I don't believe you. I don't want to hear from you. You got to put your mind where your money is. We got to fund a revolution, and a revolution can be funded by creating these autonomous organizations very easily. I do have solutions. I do have the solutions. I just left with my brothers, man. We just shot, giving a breakdown of how we can utilize these different systems that's created in order to do everything for self. Your children, this is I'm gonna leave on this point. Your children are the number one target of these algorithms. They in these algorithms, and they over there behind the scenes. They don't know who they on the game with. You leaving them on Roblox. You leaving them already in the metaverse. Your children already there. Y'all think y'all don't like it. The children already love it. They already spending money in it. They talking to weirdos, sycophants, pedophiles on the other end. Don't know who they talking to. They on TikTok. They brain them been fried. They become slaves of the algorithm doing these stupid dances, following every single trend that comes along. They are already being programmed to not think in a creative or original capacity because they're not creating the trends. They following them. So they're doing what the masses are doing, becoming a sheep. And you worried about the metaverse. My God, but they already in the TikTok. And they locked the hell in. Now they get the parents to do the dumb dance with them. So now it starts to control and rule the household. So when Kanye West say he don't want his daughter to be on there, I feel him. I wouldn't want my daughter to be on there either. She can't control the household just because that's what she want to do. No, I want my daughter to be on that, following the vanity of a platform so that she can get likes, comments. What are you influencing people to do in the first place? See, everybody's an influencer these days. Everybody's a leader, but do you have good leadership? Everybody's a leader, but are you leading people in the right direction? The moment you get on social media, somebody has to click a button to follow you, and you're leading them, right? With information, with content. But where are you leading them is the question. Every single one of you all are leaders, but where are you leading them? A rapper, he got 1 million subscribed people to his platform. They get 1 billion streams. They get 100 million streams on their music. That's mind and frequency rotating in the minds of the people consistently. And what you do frequently becomes your frequency. But where is it leading them? It's a communication channel to people all around the world. But what is it communicating? Death, vanity, gluttony, greed, murder, corruption, depression, issues. Where is it leading people? Because Africans listen to this, people in Brazil listen to this, people in China listen to this, the culture all around the world listen to it. It's the one communication system that we have. It's the most advanced communication line that we have in the world. It's hip hop. All around the world, people know who 50 Cent is. They know who Beyonce is. They know who Kendrick Lamar and Drake is. But what is the frequency being trained into their mind? Is it like 444 when Jay-Z was talking about wealth? Or is it nigga, 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 where everybody talking about death? Fast sex, fast culture, fast death, fast drugs. Think about that for a second. So we have to be very cognitive of the fact that we are the battery, but we don't control or own the power. The moment that we do, game changes. I'm gonna be going to Africa again. I'm gonna be going to the UK again this year. Already booked. Everything is guaranteed. We doing these trips. We bringing the people out. We pulling everybody with us. Make sure y'all locked in. Crown Society. I'm planning an Africa trip for us. You're not in the Crown Society, you won't be able to go. So make sure y'all get into that. Infinite Wealth Strategies. Listen, my game is your game. I got a documentary I just shot for Crown Society. I need everybody to go watch that when I drop it. Make sure y'all join the YouTube channel. I can't wait to build out these projects that I got on the back end that I'm designing. And I just ask for your support because we're doing everything for us. And my responsibility is to help assist, bring the culture together. Everybody that has a platform, that has knowledge and intellect, everybody has to come together. No big eyes, no little U's. I don't care who you think you are, what you're doing, because that individual shit got to cut. People be trying to compete with me. I've been doing this my whole life. Don't try to compete with me. Don't try to get that 19 keys love. Get the love you get from your frequency and who you are. Just cut it out. You understand me? And it's up to the culture to force this type of conversation and collaboration. You got to get on the helmets. Why is y'all not working together? Y'all know damn well what y'all can do for us if y'all work together. So we can't consider ourselves to be any type of leader or any advancement in the culture unless we collectively pull our resources together to expand our empires to help out the whole entire culture. And if we can't do that, then we have to admit that we egotistical narcissists that only want things to be shined on us. And we only capitalists and only want to get money for ourselves. If we can't bring this thing together, we have to admit that. And we got to put a clock on the culture. Can y'all hear me now? I'm gonna bring y'all back in. Let me bring somebody in so I can fix the audio. I know on YouTube y'all can still hear me. That's the last part that everybody need to hear. Man, I'm blessed. I was just bringing you up real quick to fix the sound, brother. I'm gonna have to exit you out though. Appreciate you. So the last part of what I said was this. We have to be able to come together, all of those who have platform, who have influence, who have power in the culture. Otherwise, we have to admit the fact that if we can't come together, then we're doing it as individuals. It's not for the culture. We're narcissistic, greedy capitalists. And then we know better than our once former slave masters and current oppressors. That's what we have to admit. And that's a fact on all of us that we have to come to consensus to. And it's to the culture and myself and everybody else to put a clock on this, that y'all got to the end of the year to figure out how to work together, to figure out how to create something that's not just on your individual platforms. Y'all got to literally bring all this intellect, come together in a council and create the agenda for the people. Because we're gonna continue to rock with you. We appreciate the information, the intellect, what you're building, but unity is the only thing that we ain't did, and it's the only thing that's gonna impress God at this point. Otherwise, we just doing it so we can shine and look good, so somebody can look at us and say, "Yo, I'm the one." We are the ones. That's how the universe was made. Shout out to Tony Spears, the law of oneness. We all the ones. That's the 19 keys, is bringing it together, and I'm infinite on that mission. So when I have conversations with somebody, they ain't gonna never tell you Keys ain't trying to bring us together. Keys ain't introducing ideas and bringing more strategy so that we can all work together. But everybody on they separate, trying to figure out how they can get their platform boosted up to the highest level so they can be the top guy. Because ego is still within us. So we have to turn the ego into the we go. Instead of bragging about what I do, we got to brag about what we do. And we had to have a we go as a society. We brag about what we go and what we do. Listen, if you are not in the US, make sure you click the link in my bio, go to the Telegram group. That's where I'm dropping deals for the people, the whole nine, everything. If you are in the US, make sure you text Infinite to 323-577-6692 to become part of the community so you don't miss out. None of the education, none of the deals, none of the operations we got going on, right? We got the NFT platform. We got the education, everything that you need to learn and want to learn. Make sure you become a part of this. You know what I'm talking about? So listen, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for giving me your attention this evening. But sometimes we got to get them downloads. You understand me? And we have to share that knowledge with the rest of the world because each one teaches one. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Oh, and when I close this out, I'm gonna post this up. I don't know if they might ban me for this one. Make sure y'all like this and make sure you share it once you see it posted. Click that like button, click that share button so more people can get the information. You understand me? I appreciate that. That's all I ask. Thank you.